Love it.
A very pleasant good evening to you as we welcome you to the Bellbank Park at the Legacy Sports Complex in Mesa, Arizona for the AZCFL Arizona Cactus Football League Game of the Week. Good evening, everyone. My name is Kevin Derryberry alongside my broadcast partner. We welcome back to the booth Cody Cameron. Cody, tonight we take it center stage. It's the Week 11 quarterfinals in the AZCFL. We have a 4-5 seed matchup. It doesn't get any better than this. We've got the Phoenix Outlaws at 5-5 taking on the crosstown rivals, the Phoenix Phantoms. They too check in at 5-5. First 10 games are in the books. It's the second season. It's time to raise this game up to another level.
Yeah, I mean, a couple blowouts early on here, Kev, but I am stoked for this matchup. The Outlaws, we've seen these guys numerous times throughout the year. They are a very, very powerful defensive team with a loaded running back room. I'm excited to watch them get after it here against an also equally talented defensive Phantoms team.
We are pumped up. We're going to take it down to the field. Lucas Metzner is on the field. Lucas, take it away.
Outlaws, that is Ben Williams, number 21, leads all running backs with rushing yards on the squad. He's a really powerful runner, gets through a lot of tackles, so it's going to be a good one tonight. Mr. Macagnano said those guys need to get 11 hats to the ball. They know Ben Williams is a really strong runner, and he will be out looking to ground and pound because Ben Williams said his O-line is the best in the league in his opinion. So be ready for a lot of running, a lot of work between the trenches tonight. And it should be a good one with the 4 and 5 seed. We'll take it back to the booth for the rest of this introduction. Here is Kevin Derryberry and Cody Cameron.
Michael Macagnano down there being featured. In fact, that's Michael Macagnano Jr. He wears number 15 at that linebacker spot. Cody, one of those guys that he's a coach on the field. He's a coach off the field. He sets the tone. He comes with his cleats and his helmet, his shoulder pads. He comes to practice. He sets the tone. He says, this is when we're going to start practice, and I'll tell you what, I'll let you know when we're going to end practice. He's that kind of a tone setter on this football team.
Yeah, and on the field, he's a sideline-to-sideline player, man. I mean, this is a sure tackler. Like you said, he is a leader on and off the field, but especially that field presence, man. When you watch this guy play, he is a monster out there for the Phantoms. He's put him in a good position here for tonight. And when you look at that linebacking core as a whole for the Phantoms, they're going to have to be disciplined. They're going to have to attack downfield, and they're going to have to make sure tackles. When you have Benny the Jet Williams and Booby Conley, when you're facing those two running backs like you are tonight, you have to have sure tacklers and have the whole 11-man defense wrap up on these guys. No feet tackles against these two running backs.
Not against these guys. These guys will make you pay for that extra effort. If you don't get them in 1 or 2, you better have the cavalry to come in and take these guys out, because if you miss tackles, they will exploit you and they will beat you. No question about it. You know, one other point for Mr. Macagnano, his son is a freshman at Hamilton High School, so you think about the roots. His daughter also is a really an esteemed quarterback for a young lady. She's a junior at Hamilton. She's going to be in the Elite 11. So when you think about the Macagnano family, boy, I tell you what, they have a stable of some impressive horses over there.
Yeah, and that's a really cool league that the AIA and a lot of Arizona schools have started this spring is having that girls flag football league. And it's kind of cool because a lot of the high school coaches who coach, obviously, the varsity squads and JV freshman teams in the fall are coaching up those ladies in the spring. And I know teams like Hamilton and Castile and Mount Point had great seasons, and that's something that looks like is a continued trend here in the state of Arizona at the high school level.
On the other side of the coin, you talk about a couple backs that you just mentioned. Larry Ben Williams, he'll wear number 21. He's the league's leading rusher, and this guy at 38 years of age, it's hard to imagine that somebody is in this league that is of that type of veteran ilk, if you will. But this guy is a personal trainer off the field. He comes in to play football. He's chiseled, he's cut, he's in great shape. He can teach these guys how to eat, how to take care of their bodies. He's just another playmaker, and he's going to be the guy that maybe will be the bell cow here tonight. Did they give him a full night's work? Will he carry the ball 25 times like he should?
Get him 30 carries. 30 carries to Ben Williams. He's that type of workhorse. Absolute stud in the backfield for the Outlaws.
We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll have the opening night kickoff here. It's the AZCFL Game of the Week. It's the Phantoms and the Outlaws at center stage, coming up next on the CMX Network. We might have to work on them. We welcome you back into the Sozo press box. Kevin Derryberry alongside Cody Cameron. We're moments away from our kickoff tonight between the Outlaws and the Phantoms. And we were just getting ready to talk about Larry Ben Williams, the leading rusher in the league, 746 yards on 109 carries, 8 touchdowns. This is in 10 games. You start to think about that. And what does 1,000 yards mean? What kind of an impact is that? Well, if you kind of extrapolate this out in an NFL comparison, Larry Williams would be about an 1,800-yard rusher had he played a full NFL schedule. This guy is just a playmaker.
Well, especially when you look at his age. I know you keep throwing out the 38 number. I still don't believe anybody in this entire league that Benny Williams is 38 years old. And
I find that hard to believe as well.
The cool thing about this, though, Kevin, and as like I said, we have broadcasted 4 Outlaws games now. 2 of them have had Booby Conley in the backfield with him as well, where they've been able to have that thunder and lightning punch, right? 2 of the games they have not had him and had to rely a little bit more on Ben Williams. We already have a bunch of fan interaction in the Facebook live feed, and Ronnie Sanders goes, hey, split the carries tonight between Ben and Booby. That 100%. You know, you got 2 rock horses like that in the backfield there. Split them. Whoever has the hot hand, keep them going. I'll tell you what, though, what makes Ben Williams so special, and in my opinion, is the best running back in this league. The 1-2 cut, goodbye home run power he possesses on every single carry.
1 cut, 1 touch, home run hit. No doubt about it. Russell Whitman is the head coach for the Phoenix Outlaws. Again, 5-5. The owner is Steve Seeley, now in his first year for Mr. Seeley, a Michigan native, all about Detroit, and he is all about the maize and the blue. He's a huge Jim Harbaugh fan, so it'll be fun to watch Seeley's group go to work. And, of course, we'll see his son, Storm Seeley, in the slot package for the Outlaws. And if you're the Phantoms, the idea is, okay, we got to shut down the run. The only guy on that field that can beat us for the Outlaws is Rico McNeil, and that will be interesting. Can the Phantoms defense play enough of run stopping and be efficient in that category and make Rico McNeil beat him?
Yeah, if you're the Outlaws, just take advantage of your play-action pass. You know, that's where I feel like Rico just thrives in here, and you take care of the run, like you said, if you're the Phantoms defense, and let Rico beat you. Rico does have a strong enough arm to go over the top. You know, he can absolutely sling the rock, but put him in situations, especially in 3rd and wrong, where he's not mobile, and you can attack him on some of these edge blitzes. I'm excited for this one, man, and it's game time, Kevin. Let's rock.
No doubt about it. And we're going to have a chance to see Phantoms quarterback Billy Bolger, a one-time Chandler Wolf. In fact, how about Billy Bolger? His career high in passing, 240 yards in high school against the Pinnacle Pioneers. That was just a couple of years back. We're ready to commence this one here. We're live at the Bellbank Park on the CMX Network. Kevin Derryberry alongside Cody Cameron. It's the 2nd season here in the AZCFL, getting ready for the Phantoms to boot things away. This will be Michael O'Brien, and back deep, one of those guys is going to be 21. That's Larry Williams. Also back deep, and this kick is going to go out of bounds. So it has to be that way, Cody. We haven't been seeing a little football for some time, and then our first play that we get to watch here together in the booth happens to be a procedure penalty against the Phantoms. It was a kick out of bounds, and here we go. It'll be the Outlaws' first possession, working right to left. They're wearing their all-black jerseys, clad in blue, and you can see 21 on the field right there with his turquoise shoes. You can't miss that man. That's Larry Ben Williams. And as Cody mentioned in the outset, Brian Booby Conley is up. He's active. He's going to play. And the best thing about it for Brian Conley, he's a new daddy. And so he's been out for a couple of weeks just doing things what we call life, Cody. So it's good to have Brian Conley back in the lineup. And if you're looking for a 1-2 punch, you may find it difficult to find a better 1-2 punch in all the AZCFL than what you see here tonight.
And shout out Booby Conley. We've come a long way, Kevin. He was originally not on our rosters week 1 when we first had him, and now he's a father. So shout out to Booby Conley as we get this game underway here.
A lot can happen in a short amount of time. It's Rico McNeil at quarterback. He wears number 0, lines up with the pistol. It's a play fake, looking for the deep ball. They want a wide receiver early, and the catch is made. Who's it going to be? That is Ashur McMillan on the receiving end of that football pass. Unofficially, a gain of 43 yards. Rico McNeil to Ashur McMillan. Well, so much for the 30 carries for the ground game. Let's just open things up and take out a can.
Hey, I call that the little broadcaster's magic right there, Kevin. First play, everybody thinking inside, outside zone. Nope, going deep over the top, 9 route, outside release. Their best number 1 receiver, Azure McMillan, gassing past the defensive back, huge gain.
Azure McMillan with his 17th catch of this season. And this is the run play. Starting in, bouncing it out in space. Here comes Ben Williams, and he's going to get tackled around the 5-yard line. Nice little delay up front as the offensive line, they too were part of that play as far as the deception. A little slight delay there was just enough to get Williams in space to get to the edge.
Yeah, 1 to 2 cut runner, but also patient. They're extremely patient, letting his blocks ahead of him develop. Sees the outside. Great block by the left tackle there for the Outlaws. And back-to-back first downs early in this drive of the Phantoms now at the 6-yard line.
Gain of 10. James Dukes getting it done with a nice finish on his block as he's just pushing the defense off the ball. 1st and goal to go, 13-11 to go, opening quarter. The Outlaws working right to left. Rico McNeil will send his running back, Larry Williams, into the slot to the left. Now it's Williams in motion. They give it to him. He'll turn it upfield, and he's going to be stood up around the 5-yard line. Great defense there by the Phantoms, and shooting the gap is Sevens. And unfortunately, well, we'll just leave it at that. No Sevens on the roster. That was something that we had talked about on our conference call. We said, coaches, whatever we can do, any information that we can get to make sure that our rosters are accurate, it just makes for a better event for not only you, the players and coaches playing on the field, and for us here in the booth, but everybody globally at home. They're appreciative of the knowledge.
And half the time, Kevin, we get these players' numbers from the audience. So anybody on the Facebook live stream, if you know who number 77 is for the Phantoms, shoot it in the comments.
Yeah, and he was making a big-time play. 12:14 to go. Clock continues to move. Long count for McNeil. Play fake. Fade to the near corner for McMillan, and the ball's out of bounds. You had 1-on-1. So it was Azure McMillan wearing number 1 for the Outlaws and wearing number 1 cornerback and defensive specialist Jaden Smith. But McNeil, he's thrown the ball twice here, Cody, and they've run it twice. So a little balance in the first 4.
Yeah, I expect another combo route here. I mean, they go double wide receivers on each side there. And just a back shoulder fade, or literally back pylon fade, just kind of overthrew him. We're getting a number. We got Dre Andre. Dre Andre looks like to be number 77 for the Phantoms. So
see if we can't find his name on the roster. Dre Andre. That seems like a lot of Dre's. All right, 11:26 to go. This is a 3rd and goal to go from the Phantom 7-yard line. Flank to the right of Rico McNeil is Ben Williams. Long count as the tight end pinches in. And now we're going to get a whistle here. On the hunt, meeting McNeil was Michael Macagnano. Macagnano, a 6th-year player, a one-time GCC Gaucho, and we featured him at the opening. But, you know, just going back just for a second, his young lady, his daughter, playing football at Hamilton, which is an absolute hotbed here in the Grand Canyon State of high school football for Hamilton High School, a perennial power. She's playing flag football, but this young lady is spinning it.
Oh, big time, man. She had a tremendous flag football season and from the Arizona Coaches Association. Going back to the penalty, though, Kevin, that's what killed the Outlaws all season. The inside the red zone penalties, especially on 3rd down.
3rd and goal from the 12. Snap is back to McNeil, and he throws a slant. The ball's going to be caught for a touchdown. Azure McMillan from Rico McNeil. And for McMillan, his 7th touchdown reception of the season. Rico McNeil just connects on his 11th touchdown pass of the year. And on the opening drive of the game for the Outlaws, they punch it in for 6.
Yeah, and that's a tremendous route there by McMillan. Got the defensive back on his heels, gave up the inside release. Quick slant, just explodes on that cut. Perfect ball by McNeil right in the chest of McMillan. And a great opening drive here for the Outlaws.
I love the move, too, by McMillan, that fake left to the outside and then put your foot in the ground and then cut it back to the inside. Great route. That was really what set that play up, is the execution of the route and the crispness of that route, and then the delivery of the football by McNeil. And then don't forget, those guys up front that gave him just enough time to thread the needle in there. Outstanding opening drive if you're Russell Whitman and the Phoenix Outlaws.
And McMillan has really balled out all season, Kevin. I mean, we've watched him numerous times just blow past the secondary, but also in intermediate routes. That's what's really impressed me about his game. His cuts and his 90-degree cuts, and like I said, getting the defensive backs on his heel, feeling uncomfortable, not knowing where they're going. He is a magician at that, and he just showed it right there with that touchdown.
I love the wiggle from an offensive point of view, but when you get the DB on the wiggle, he's in trouble.
That's always a bad news.
So this will be an extended point after try. The snap is down. The kick is on its way. It's end over end, and the kick is going to be good. He buried the 1 point after try. So at the 10:43 mark, it's 7-0 Outlaws. And I was just trying to double check there. I want to say that was like 30-plus yard point after try.
Yeah, after the unsportsmanlike conduct, it looked like after the touchdown there from McMillan. But honestly, Kevin, that's pretty damn impressive because how many blocked extra points and missed wide right extra points have we seen from the Outlaws this season? That's a big-time extra point there.
It's a huge opening drive, and it's an emphatic punch it in for 6 for the 4th-seeded Outlaws. We know they've got the defense and the championship pedigree defensively. It was always going to be, could they put up and put together enough offense and stay out of the penalty box, to use a hockey term? We talk about self-infliction week in and week out, but this is the time of the year. You've got to bone it up. You've got to make sure that everything is dialed in. Talk about dotting the I's and crossing the T's. Everything must be covered at this stage of the campaign.
Yeah, and even with that being said, they still shot themselves in the foot with to delay a game when they're 3rd and goal from the 6. Just Rico's able to throw an absolute bullet into the Tess McMillan when they're on the 11-yard line for the touchdown. Here's what I'm looking forward to, though. Billy Bolger, quarterback for the Phantoms, the former Chandler Wolf, going up against this Outlaws defense.
Fuentes kicks it deep, taking it to the 15, to the 20, 25, 30, in space to the 40, looking for blockers at the midfield at the 50, and he's going to be tackled around the 47-yard line. On the return, Antonio Mays, and you talk about some speed, bobbing and weaving throughout the gridiron here. Outstanding return, and you got to like that burst from Antonio Mays. He takes it to the 47-yard line. Penalty marker thrown right there. Let's see what this is all about. But how about the return and the answer for the Phoenix Phantoms?
And it looks like they're also going to get a 15-yard penalty tacked on here at the end of the run. But like you just said, great burst, really nice acceleration right away on the return kickoff. And the Phantoms are going to have some pretty nice field position here on the first drive.
Unofficially a 38-yard return plus the 15 tacked on. You talk about beginning your first offensive series, taking your first snap at the opposition's 32-yard line. Let's play some football. Down by 7, going to work are the Phoenix Phantoms. At quarterback would be number 12. That's going to be Billy Bolger, a one-time Sean Aguano product out of the Chandler High School, and he was a good player in high school. And they run a jet sweep to Kirk Sparks. This is Trey trying to turn the corner, and he's going to sideswipe one would-be tackler. As you could see that Sparks was looking for some contact. He got by the initial guy, Carl Evans Jr., and then you had a couple black shirts right there storming the party and taking out the fleet of foot Trey Sparks III.
That's exactly why Carl Evans is one of my favorite football players in this league, though. Absolutely flies down in the alley, filling hard, puts an absolute lick with his right shoulder into the running back's chest.
Bolger, shotgun snap, looks left, going to tuck it. Now he wants to run. Takes it to 30 and gets dropped right there. How about the collision with Eric Sipes, the linebacker, put Bolger down, and for Sipes, that emphatic tackle as he speared Bolger into the turf here. He was tackling Bolger like he was a running back, and he just mistreated the quarterback.
Yeah, but and that's a play I don't think Bolger wants to do many times against a defense like this.
I would think so.
They fly to the football, and they hit you. And use the word spear. A lot of people will hear spear and goes, oh, that's a dirty hit. No, that is a running back, and he's putting that helmet right in the chest. I call that the 1-2 knockout lung punch, man. I love that tackle. That's a vicious tackle from a linebacker. Great play.
I call that the chest plate special. He just absolutely drilled him to the center. Low snap for Bolger. Looks left. The ball's going to be caught. And making the reception, that Sparks makes one man miss, takes it inside the red zone around the 19-yard line. I'll tell you what, nice throw there by Bolger, and the reception by Trey Sparks, the third, he too with a nice move, and then it was the rack, a little bit of that jitterbug activity as he caught it and then made a move after the catch.
That's a great throw by Bolger. Not trying to do too much. Takes what the defense gives him. Blitz off the edge. Hit the quick hitch and a first down.
How about a gain of 18? They run it for the first time tonight, running it left. That's Damon Sparks. We've mentioned the name Sparks a time or two, and if you go back long enough, you remember one time ASU Cager, Felipe Sparks. Felipe played his high school ball at Maryville, played in the league for the New York Giants. And we just think about the name Sparks. That is a prominent name here in the Valley of the Sun. And, of course, the other member of the Sparks, Jordan Sparks, a Grammy Award-winning singer. So that Sparks family tree is pretty interesting and very impressive, Cody.
Yeah, so is this first drive. I know they started in tremendous field position, but I mean they're running right along here against a really good Outlaws defense. So good showing for the Phantoms on opening drive here for them.
2nd and 7 from the Outlaw 14-yard line in the red zone. There goes Sparks in motion. Snap back for Bolger. He looks this way, and the ball is going to be thrown behind the wide receiver. That was Trey Sparks, the third. He lost his footing, and there to try to pick one up off the turf was Eric Sipes. And how about Sipes showing you his ability to be a good tackler, then showing you some good hands right there to maybe work on a takeaway.
This is a really nice play by Sipes because they motion to trips, and what they're trying to do is a double slant on the outside receivers and then an arrow with the motion trips receiver. And Sipes comes off number 2. He's the skip linebacker, comes into the flat, and almost picks one off on a Bolger pass that was a little bit behind the intended receiver. But that is a really nice play for an outside linebacker who's covering the flat to make.
Bolger has completed 67 passes on the year for 921 yards, 12 touchdowns to 13 picks. Hard count used, snap back, Outlaws might have moved with the pocket and firing, and the ball is in and out of the hands of the wide receiver. But Bolger showed you some good poise in the pocket that time, and he, as we've talked about before the game, that Bolger possesses a solid arm. He's got a really strong arm, and maybe a little bit too much velo as the wide receiver just dropped the football.
Yeah, you couldn't ask much for Bolger there. He has pressure on his backside off an edge rusher. He feels the pressure, steps up, and throws a bullet on the deep curl at about the 3-yard line. It was open. It was a good pass, just not executed on the catch. That's a pretty big drop for the Phantoms receiving corps.
Randall Barber, who has just joined the team in the last couple of weeks, he's the one that was the targeted wide receiver, and he dropped the football, and that was a big-time drop, as Cody just alluded to. This would be a 32-yard field goal for the Phantoms to try to get on the scoreboard. Snap is back. The hold is down. The kick is going to be blocked. And just covering it up is the Phantoms' place kicker. That is Antonio Mays. And it'll be a block kick for the Outlaws. And it doesn't surprise myself here, but Cody, once again, the Outlaw defense stands tall. A little bend, but no break in this particular drive.
Nope, and there's about 3 Outlaws players who were untouched, not just unblocked. I mean, literally free run at that field goal attempt and big block. If you're the Phantoms there, you really needed points there, just to get your offense going, especially with the field position. To come up with the goose egg there, that is going to be a long talk on the sideline.
Yes. If you're special teams coach, you're thinking to yourself, okay, I got 3 guys on the left side that just vacated the premises. 3 guys that were absolutely unabated to the kicker. That's not going to be the formula for success. So the Phantoms missed the field goal try, and they turn it over to Rico McNeil once again, working from the, we'll call it the 21-yard line. This is Williams with the carry. Starting right, he runs right into the defensive front and gets taken down immediately. Double nines, Christian Still all over that play. And you just look at that play, and that was just a pure tackle football play where Still wanted it more, got off that block, and then just crushed the ball carrier. And this time, no gain for Ben Williams.
Press the interior guard with both hands, shed him, release, make the tackle for about a 1-yard gain. And there's a reason I got the double stars next to Christian Still. Look at the frame. You look at the violence. That is a hell of a football player in the defensive line for the Phoenix Phantoms.
No question about it. So forward progress will net him for a gain. When I saw him spot the football down, it looked like he had no gain. So we'll pick up 1 on forward progress. 5:04 to go. Opening quarter. Outlaws lead at 7-0. There goes the Outlaw tight end in motion. That is Jacob Reed. They run it up the middle and trying to burrow his way for some extra yardage was the tailback. That is Ben Williams. For Ben Williams, in 10 games, 109 carries, 746, 8 touchdowns. He has visited the box 8 times this year, and we saw him do a lot of damage earlier in the year against the Canes, which is a very formidable team. We're going to see the Canes more than likely next week against the Rebels on our game of the week in the semifinals. But we saw Ben Williams rush for 120 yards and a touchdown in the first half against the Canes. So this guy has big-time playmaking ability, facing a 3rd down and 5 from their own 22-yard line. McNeil has Williams flanked to his right. Snap is back. McNeil steps up in the pocket. He lets it go, and the ball is going to be incomplete. McNeil took a shot as he delivered the football. He wanted McMillan, and applying pressure from the interior was Troy Kowalski. Kowalski playing both sides of the football. He's starting on right tackle. He's also playing on the defensive side of things. He just applied some pressure there, and to be honest with you, Cody, it looked like McMillan just dropped the football.
Yeah, and the Outlaws really like that formation, especially on 3rd and long. The trips bunch set with the solo receiver to the right side. Here's the interesting thing, and they're going to come back to this. The Phantoms have their free safety over the top, so they pretty much have 4 defenders for that trips bunch. Antoine Jackson, who's a really big-time playmaker for the Outlaws, he's at the solo side. That is what we call a choke call for the defense, where corner's pretty much locked on an island there. Backside slant all day long for Antoine Jackson. I hope they expose that because I'm seeing that clear as day up here in the booth.
Jacob Reed in punt formation. Snap is back. Here comes the rush. Phantoms wanted it. Back deep is going to be Antonio Mays, and Mays won't have anything to do with this one. It does amaze me, no pun intended, how many guys get that close to the football when you know it's an absolute time bomb. Why do guys inch their way closer to the ball? It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Only bad things can happen when you get close to the football, unless you get the perfect carom that allows you to time it, pick it, and split the D and take advantage of something. Other than that, it's just absolute chaos.
Anybody who's put the helmet on knows this call. I'm going to move the mic away so it doesn't spike it. Peter, right? As a punt returner, as someone on special teams, you've heard that call. Get the heck away from the football.
Right. There's also people use Mayday, and that's something very similar. Maybe
Mayday.
Maybe in a military type setting. But all right, back to work. Bolger back in at quarterback. He's got trips to the left and trips to the right. This will be a run game, and they run it right up the middle, running it right. And that Outlaw defense right there to just come up there and gang tackle the ball carrier. Carrying the rock was Randall Barber in this case. And you had all kinds of guys getting to the football, including the Outlaws' big fella. That was Tyson Muse, the linebacker. Had a nice conversation with Tyson earlier this week. And another guy that just brings his brain to the table. He brings his brain to the practice field. He brings his brain to the coaching aspect of things. Just using that mind, it's amazing when you use the mind.
Yeah, and if I was a betting man, which I am, I'm going to take the under on 50 yards rushing tonight for the Phantom because people like Muse and Carl Manns make that Outlaws front 7 dangerous.
They really do. They've just absolutely put him in a tough spot, and now you see the best run of the night right there for Damon Sparks. Once again, Cody Cameron will mention something, and then we will witness the absolute polar opposite of what's going on there. So,
12-yard gain, right? I got to keep saying that, man, to get the Phantom's offense going.
So right now, Cody has 38 yards to work with after the 12-yard run by Sparks. And we'll double-check that. So, 46-yard line, that's where Bolger will go to work again, working left to right. The Phantoms wearing their all-white uniforms with their red numerals with their trim in black. And I tell you what, I like both sets of unis that we see here tonight. The Outlaws always have a clean look, but this white look here for the Phantoms, I kind of like it with some of that red trim. Now we're going to get action up front, and we're going to have a procedure penalty against the Phantoms. I'm not sure who moved. It might have been Trey Sparks III. Somebody got a little bit too happy there with the footwork, and this is what the Outlaws do. They literally force and create the opposition to make mistakes. That's just something that they're good at.
Yeah, and I haven't broadcasted the Phantoms. I think maybe you've done a game broadcasting them, but they're an up-tempo offense. You know, they want to go fast. Time of possession doesn't matter to them. They want to score, and they want to move quickly and get defenses on their heels. The problem with the Outlaws is they're looking to do the same thing defensively, put you in these second and longs and third and long situations, make you feel uncomfortable.
From the 41-yard line, working out of the gun is Billy Bolger. 4 wide receiver package, 1 wide receiver in the slot to the left, and now Bolger using that hard count, and the hard count used to effectiveness, jumping on the play with the Outlaws, or do they go the other direction and do they get movement? So in this case, Cody, it looks like the left side moved first, so the hard count not only got the offense, but it didn't affect the defense in this case at all.
Yeah, now you're first.
Backfired.
Now you're first and forever. Pretty much wipes out that 12-yard carry. And it's a tough sled in here for the Phantoms on this second offensive drive for them.
Still need 38 yards for the over on that rushing category at 50. Still with 7 seconds to go. Low snap. And Bolger's going to have to dive on it, and he's going to get there. And that will be the final play of our opening quarter. On the hustle for the Outlaws was the big guy, Carl Mans. And we've talked about Carl Mans an awful lot on this very airwave. And Carl Mans is a dude. First quarter is ancient history. We have hit triple zeros here at Bellbank Park at the Legacy Sports Complex. For tonight's AZCFL Game of the Week, we move to the second quarter. It's 7-0 Outlaws right here on the CMX Broadcast Network. Snap back, looks right. Here comes the pressure. Bolger's going to go down. He's going to get sacked. Great coverage in the secondary. And there to get the quarterback.
It's our guy, Carl Mans.
Mons once again all over that. And you like the idea that Bolger could feel the pressure coming, but he couldn't feel Mons and that speed from the backside to take him down.
Absolute motor, man. He is coming off the edge, and Bolger, once again, he feels pressure, especially from the backside, steps up. And Carl Mans, the double star on my sheet. Back in the day, that means he's an absolute baller, making another big-time sack. And now we have third and an ancient forever here, Kevin.
Give Mans the sack. That he has a sack and a half now. Hard to imagine that. Low snap for Bolger. Wants to run it. And they try the middle of the field, and then getting what looked to be clothesline right there. On the ball carrier for the Phantoms, that was Andre Jones. And you had a slew of black shirts there to take down Jones. Very little gain. They did get positive yardage, but now they're faced with fourth and forever. In punt formation for the Phantoms. Back deep, wearing his patented turquoise shoes, is Larry Ben Williams. In punt formation for the Phantoms is Alex Van Anrooy. Anrooy in punt formation. This will be his second attempt. 7-0 Outlaws, second quarter action. Earlier in the day, the Rebels won their football game to punch their ticket to take on the Canes next week. And here comes the punt. And it'll be Williams from the 40. 45. Penalty marker comes in from behind the play, and then Williams gets decked around the 46-yard line. Great special teams tackle on the far sideline by the Phoenix Phantoms. It looked as though that it was James Scott over there, and outstanding defense for the Phantoms. Can the Phantoms get a stop here, Cody, and kind of create any kind of offense? Because you know, if you're Russell Whitman right now, you can dictate this game script. You can dictate the game plan the rest of the way just by what we're seeing here in the first 15.
Yeah, 100%. One of the things the Outlaws offense is very good at doing, 5 yards in a cloud of dust. They like controlling the rock, having these 7 to 8 minute possessions, which really isn't that hard to do in a league where the clock consistently runs, especially on incomplete passes. You know, something I learned halfway through this season.
One of the greatest traits. One of the greatest traits about this league, right there.
Always runs, man. So if you're the Phantoms, a 3 and out here, obviously clutch and key. Tough to do with the backfield that the Outlaws possess.
Rico McNeil back on the field, works from his own 46-yard line, works out of the shotgun. He's going to run it up the middle. This is going to be Conley. Conley breaks a tackle, tries to spin out of a second tackle, and will fall forward for about a 3-yard gain. But nice work there for Booby Conley. And the line, let's go ahead and give you the guys up front here for the Outlaws. The center is James Beener. The left guard is Chris Martinez. The right guard is Blake Shaw. The right tackle is Tariq DuBois. And the left tackle is Derek McClure. Those are the guys, the 5 guys, the bigs, the hogs up front that get it done. Just enough blocking there for Brian Conley to pick up some positive yardage right there. They'll give him 3 with a positive run. Ball will be set on the 49-yard line of the Outlaws, working left to right, up by 7. So now Williams will line up in the slot as Rico McNeil directs some traffic. Flank to his right now is Brian Conley. Bunch formation. Low snap. They're going to fake it. McNeil's going to run the football. Slips through a tackle. He's at the 50, looking for some blockers on the far sideline, and he's going to be close to the first down marker.
I think he fumbled.
The ball came out as well. Rico McNeil ran into a trio of tacklers wearing white shirts with red numerals. One of those guys over there was 9's Christian Stilligan making another play. And, Cody, you've played this game. In order to be a defensive lineman, in order to literally ask for and wear and boast 99, you've got to have some kind of game, do you not?
That number is reserved for a few selected people.
Yes.
And those selected people are big-time playmakers on the defensive line. But
No
how about
doubt
Rico
about it.
McNeil about the fake? It would technically a jet sweep. It was behind him, so almost like a misdirection reverse here, and he keeps it the rock.
He needed 5, he got 6. Now they run it to Williams, and Williams gets to the edge. Cody, do you think that the opposition knows that Ben Williams is 38 years old? It's not that big of a deal. It's just astonishing for us because of what we do, where we come from, our background. But you see, again, this guy is a personal trainer, so you know that he knows how to take care of his body. And let's be honest, that's half the battle. Just knowing how to take care of your body, that's a whole nother show.
And you know a guy's a dude in this league when everybody else who plays him, all the oppositions, respect the hell out of him. And that's Ben Williams in this league. But I'll tell you what, the Phantoms actually have done a pretty good job of balling up just right there. I mean, and they're moving, the Outlaws are moving him around with inside, outside zone, a lot of fly sweeps from the slot. The Phantoms are doing a pretty damn good job.
Conley flank to the left. It's Conley that gets the ball here. He runs up the middle into that second level to the 30. Make a move at the 25-yard line and rumble in close to the 20-yard line. Brian Conley running downhill there. And how about the juju at the 30-yard line? A little shake and bake, and then the finish of the run.
Booby Conley goes, hey, broadcasters, enough of Benny Williams, man. I can carry the rock too. And he does his best Marshawn Lynch impression. One cut, makes a defender slip and fall, and burst of speed, getting about a 20-plus yard gain. Booby Conley, the thunder and lightning combo, the tandem in the Outlaws backfield.
I had him unofficially for 18-yard tote. It's 7-0 Outlaws, 9:13 to go. On the march are the Phoenix Outlaws, led by their quarterback, Rico McNeil. And one programming note here, if you're looking to see Brandon Chilling is no longer a member of the Phoenix Outlaws. He's playing and pursuing a career with the Roadrunners in another league. Blitz coming. Here comes Macanino, and the pass is going to be caught. Reed makes the reception, pinballs around after one defensive back tried to put the shoulder into him, spins off of that tackle, and then picks up extra yardage right there. But a nice pass there from Rico McNeil. But I like the handwork of Jacob Reed to secure the football, knowing he had tacklers coming down on him, and then that little wiggle there gave him a little extra step.
A personal opinion here, but I think tight ends in this league are kind of underutilized. You
Without
got
a doubt.
players like Tanner Swinger for the Canes. He's a big-time listener of us, too. You have a tight end like Jacob Reed, and we know he can make plays. He is a baller every time he catches the rock. There's McNeil taking with the defense, gives him quick hitch as he's in the slot there. Antoine Jackson pretty much takes two defenders with him on the inside skinny post in a big-time play.
How about Booby Conley lining up in the slot here? McNeil wants a separate screen to Williams, and he overshoots him.
That would have been a touchdown.
He had nothing but green grass in front of him. Williams would have had to just secure the football, turn around, and just waltz into the end zone. Great play call there by Russell Whitman's group. That was outstanding deception, and you set them up with the runs this way and then go back with the screen on the other side. I like the idea.
Outlaws had two of their athletic offensive linemen out there for one kickout block, and literally the defender, the safety coming down, trying to make that play was already naturally kicked out. He went wide. All he had to do was put it on him. He would have turned up, made one guy miss, and that would have been 6.
86 in the slot. That is one of those wide receivers for the Outlaws. Another playmaker, that's Jamel Ward. Snap back to McNeil. Looks over the middle of the field. Looks right, and the ball is incomplete. He had a wide open receiver that
Antoine
broke
Jackson.
free. It was AJ, and had that ball been delivered on target, there would have been another touchdown. So McNeil's left a couple plays on this field here, some inaccuracy. And you like to say that the Phantom defense was in there wreaking some havoc, but I think Rico McNeil just had to take a deep breath, get his feet set, and use a little touch.
Too high safety shell there, but Antoine Jackson does a great job of getting outside release, swiping the arm of the defensive back who's trying to stab. That window is there. Just Rico kind of let him just a little bit too much, and safety was able to come over the top.
Ward in the slot to the left. McMillan is the wide receiver just inside the numbers on the far side. 4 wide receiver package. Reed to the near side. McNeil looks left, throws left. The ball is going to be caught at the 5, and taking it in is going to be the wide receiver. That's McMillan once again. And I think he caught the ball near the 10, was able to turn around and inch his way towards the 5-yard line. Nice defensive work there to not allow McMillan any extra effort there. Good defensive play by the Phantoms, Daniel Hernandez, and we're going to get a timeout on the field. With 6:21 to go to halftime, Cody, it's still 7-0 Outlaws, but Rico McNeil has his team on the march.
Yeah, the Outlaws look like they have confidence right now, and they should, because they have receivers open all over the field. Right there, it's 4th and 4. You're a defensive back. Play the sticks. Now, obviously, don't get beat on an outside release 9 route back shoulder fade, but you had literally a combo route there, an open wheel with the inside slot, and then a deep hitch. I don't know if the secondary players there got mixed up, if they were going to switch that. I don't know if they had a scissors call before that pre-snap, but the hitch, which was about 6 yards run by McMillan, was wide open. And so just a little miscues like that from the Phantom secondary. But it's tough, right? Because we talked about it pregame. You want to stop the run. So they're loading up the box. They're trying to bring pressure. And for the most part, they have done good on Ben Williams. McNeil has receivers open every single play right now.
There's no doubt about that. It's about the execution now. And they started this game off with a 40-plus yard bomb to McMillan. You thought, okay, well, just throw out the game plan that we kind of surmised here. So they break the huddle out of a timeout. Rico McNeil will work in an empty set. He has 4 wide receivers to work with. In fact, check that. It'll be McNeil in the pistol formation. To his left is Ben Williams. They run it to Williams. He breaks a tackle, and then he splits the defense and just glides into the end zone for a rushing touchdown for Ben Williams. His 9th rushing touchdown of the season. And just like that, right through the middle, it's Ben Williams breaking the plane of the goal line, punching it in for 6.
They love this play. So they motion Reed out to the trip side, and they pull the backside guard. And it also looks like sometimes the backside tackle leads up inside zone counter, splits. They go cross down on the inside backer. They have the natural kick out, and Ben Williams explodes through the A and B gap and a great drive. It's one of those drives we talked about before the drive started. They can go on these 6-7 minute drives, drain all the clock, and punch it in for 6, and that's exactly what happened for the Outlaws.
That's a back-breaking type touchdown after the challenges on the field. Now here comes the point after try, and this is going to be blocked. And the point after try is no good. So with 6:18 to go to intermission, our new score, the Outlaws 13, the Phantoms 0. And I wanted to go back to the touchdown run by Ben Williams. He starts left. You go through all the scheming of the blocking, which is pretty sophisticated right there. All those kickouts and guys coming back the other way, the misdirection, if you will. But once Ben Williams identifies the space, it's how he exploits that space. One cut like he suggests, and then boom, he's gone. If that play happened at the 5-yard line and the other way, that would have been a 95-yard touchdown run.
Yeah.
So he's just got that kind of game.
Yeah, and I noted it earlier in the broadcast. He is the explosive 1-2 cut runner, but he's also extremely patient. So on a play like that, a nice soft jab left and then explode. And by that time, with the jab, it creates two things. The Outlaws can go off of that play, RPO action, and hit one of their screens, or like I said, they like to go the natural pick, double slant arrow underneath. And when they run the football, it gets the backside guard and tackle once they pull to get to the second level. Once they get to the second level, they seal in the inside backer, and that gap is wide open. And I just love breaking down football like that, man. It's a hell
awesome.
of a play.
It's awesome, but the execution, right? It's one thing to talk about. It's another thing to do it, and you saw it right there. Next year, we'll have that one on a telestrator for you, and we'll show you how that one should be done. Francisco Fuentes on to kick balls at the 40 in between the hash marks. And back deep, it looks like it's Antonio Mays. And this time it's going to be Poots with more whistles. So procedure on the kick, it's 13-0, 6:18 to go. You know, we talk about the word patience, and we see patience used mostly out of the running back spot. It's about the backs and how they use the line and how they want to wait for things to develop. We'll go back to the word, the patience. I want to know what back, in your opinion, is credited with changing the game and the way it's played by using patience, because I feel like going back maybe a decade, maybe 8 to 10 years, but it was Le'Veon Bell was the guy that really started to, at Michigan State, work and run behind the blocks, kind of change the way that runners run. Instead of the power downhill, we're going to just, open up a whole quick hitter stuff. Now it's about the timing, right, and the deception and the movement of everything. Who gets credit for that?
LaDainian Tomlinson.
Okay.
LT, he was incredible at it.
Hall of Famer.
Hall of Famer. LT was the best, man.
And I want you to know, and I'll shoot you a pic when I get home. In my closet at the house, I've got a few football jerseys.
Okay.
Right? But I've got a powder blue LT, authentic.
Clean.
And a home Chargers regular season dark blue. I was all in on LT. Like no other. I know Bell got a lot of credit for that, but if you want to give it to LaDainian Tomlinson out of Texas Christian, my guy,
yep.
I'm all aboard.
The
on
starter of the Tin Advisor too, man.
Love
the OG of the Tin Advisor. I'm sure there was someone before him, but he made it famous.
Nope, he's the only one. Yeah, you're right. I think Deion Sanders did a little visor action back in the day. He was a lot of fun. All right, back to work. It's Billy Bolger down by 13 here, working right to left. He's got a 4 wide receiver package. And he's just taking time off this play clock here. Long count as the Outlaws show blitz. They pick it up, and Bolger is going to go down. He's going to get sacked. And the ball might have come out. Mons was there. He was one of the guys there. The ball might have come out where they give him possession of the football. Recovering the rock for the Outlaws was Matt DeLuna. So DeLuna covers the strip sack. Mons was there for the strip sack. The recovery of the football is DeLuna. And bang, bang, just like that, the Outlaws are going to get the football back on a blitz that the Phantoms couldn't handle.
And the former Centennial Coyote and NEU Lumberjack Tevin Ray, who they've just moved all over the football field this season, starting at inside backer here tonight, delayed A-gap blitz, explodes through the center, chops down the hands, and Bolger had no time. Literally, he says hike, no time with 3 players in front of him. Tevin Ray forcing the fumble, and the Outlaws jumping on it. Big play from the defense.
3 guys in on that play. You talk about a heavy rush Nice job by DeLuna to recover the football. 5-9 on the sidelines there with some celebration with his teammates. Now it's McNeil back to work. He's got trips to the far side of the field with Booby Conley to his right. A delay. They run it to Conley. Makes one-man miss in space to the 15-yard line, and he'll get leveled there. Nice open field tackle by the Phantoms. It looked like Nines again was active. Christian Still, among others. But we talk about patience. We talk about the delay game, the scheming up front. But sometimes the quarterback kind of sets the tone for that delay there. Nice handoff. Good patience from McNeil as he tried to, make it look like it might be a pass play, and then just put that ball into the gut of Conley, and he did the rest.
Yeah, great play calling, too. With those delays, you get the edge rushers to come up. You get the natural seam because they're gone from the C gap. And execution at its finest. Like you said, Rico fakes the pass there and a little slip draw.
Trips to the far side. Snap is back. Slant is there. The ball's caught for a touchdown. Once again, the Outlaws on the receiving end of that slant play. Nifty reception by the Outlaws. That was Diedrich Gadlin. So Gadlin, lining up as a wide receiver, ran a slat. And when I go slot and slant and right, I go kind of that term that you heard there. But what a nice throw by Rico McNeil. Talk about a little gas on that throw with some velo. Put that one in there, and he actually threaded the needle, split two defenders. That's a touchdown reception for the Outlaws, a chance to add to their lead.
Highlighted this earlier when they went to this formation, the 3-by-1 set. That backside slant is there. The free safety is over to the trip side. They had the choke call. The outside backer was not able to get to the flat fast enough. That window was there. McNeil put the bullet right in the chest. Good catch by Gadlin, and he does the rest.
So the point after try, this one is true. 3:10 to go till halftime. It's 20-0. Outlaws have the lead. And we're going to take a break. We're going to pay a few bills. You're watching the AZCFL Game of the Week. It's Week 11, quarterfinals. The Phantoms and the Outlaws back after this short timeout. Welcome back to Bellbank Park. Kevin Derryberry alongside Cody Crammon. It's 20-0 Outlaws as they cash in on their last turnover on a nice touchdown throw to Mr. Gadlin. And on the return here for the Phantoms, looks like the ball might have been jarred loose again. But I tell you what, these guys are still popping one another. Nice return there by Trey Sparks III. But these guys continue to hit. It doesn't matter what the score is. There's just a lot of pride on the football field, CC.
And this is what makes the Outlaws dangerous here defensively. They can go too high safety and play back, especially when they have defensive backs like Carl Evans, who's one of the best football players in this league.
Sure.
They can just have him rob all game long, and they can bring the house with 6 players up top. You talk about the front 7 and how nasty the defensive line is. They're going to bring the house now, and they're going to continue to attack Bulger and keep everything in front of them. This is a dangerous defense right now.
Working from their own 38-yard line. Hard count used by Bulger. This is going to be a run play with some room up the middle, and then that hole quickly closes after about a 3-yard gain. The Outlaws defense and their front 4 starting to get a little bit fired up. We wouldn't use the word chippy. These guys are just starting to pop each other, and they're starting to get settled in here.
Yeah, when I use the terms nasty, ferocious, violence, that's never negative connotations on the football field, man. That is great defensive contributions right there, and they play really good team defense.
This is Dontrell Chance with a big hole up the middle, and he's going to be tackled from behind the line right there to make a brilliant tackle for the Outlaws. That was Zachary Salzman. Salzman was in the middle of the trenches there, got beat on the play from the block. Great work up front, but then he just reached out with that left hand and tripped up the ball carrier. That was Chance, and Chance might still be running had that not occurred.
Yeah, you know what impressed me about the Phantoms, though? They have speed. You know, we look at some of
Size,
the
too.
kickoffs with Kirk Sparks, and you just mentioned Chance and some of these other playmakers they have on the outside. They got speed. I would just like to see them. I mean, obviously block guys up front, right? But you got to make plays. Take what the defense gives you. They did that on the first drive with a couple first downs. They have some of those quick hitches in the slot, some of those combo routes. But in the pregame, I saw them working on combo routes for like 10 minutes. Simple smash routes, a quick hitch on the outside, a corner. That's what we've seen teams do to beat the Outlaws and beat this too high safety defense. They're just not taking advantage of it.
They're not just yet. But I will mention, we talked about some of the playmakers and the could-be playmakers. This Chance is again lined up behind the backfield. But they got some good size up front. The right tackle is Troy Kowalski. The center is Tyrell Litson. The left guard is Luis Gardea. The right guard is Armando Alvarez, a one-time Maryville Panther product. And the left tackle is James Dukes. So they got size up front. You have to also credit the front for the Outlaws. They just make things difficult for you, right? They'll make any good line be humanized. Nice move by Chance. Cuts it back. Bounces to the outside. And he's going to be grabbed around the 45-yard line. But there, the Phantoms used a little delay. How about Derek Parman's offensive coordinator? They used a little delay there. And that was able to get their tailback in some nice space. Andre Jones this time. It was not Dontrell Chance. It was Andre Jones with a nice 13-yard run.
Yeah, great blocking up front. I mean, you saw that whole defense collapse there. The big bodies moving people there. A minute 29, they got to go down here.
Well, there you go. We appreciate that, Ronnie Sanders. That's not Chance. Well, that's what's indicated here on our roster. We would love to know if there's anything that we could possibly do to get everybody's number on a legitimate roster. Man, we would be in absolute heaven.
We might be A-listers, man, at that point. Get some good broadcasters.
All right, maybe it's Terrell Tolliver. I don't know who it is, but let's go with that. Thank you, Mr. Sanders. Appreciate your help here tonight. All right, 58 seconds to go. Clock continues to roll. Outlaws posting a shutout right now. They lead it 20-0 over the Phantoms. Phantoms founder is Danny Parham. That's the brother Derek Parham. Bolger from the pocket, he gets blasted in the middle. A blindside hit as Bolger got taken out. He was absolutely decleated by David Satterfield Jr. And for Satterfield, he might have forced a fumble there, but for David Satterfield, I like that hit, a punishing blow to the blind side of the quarterback. But for Satterfield, I'd like to know what else he does for fun because he's also the long snapper on this team. And I tell you what, a long snapper that can hit people like that, I want you coming to my party.
Man, the left side of the Phantoms offensive line might get Bolger. I mean, I don't want to use the word killed there, but that is a back-breaking hit. That is delivering the blow for Satterfield, and I don't know if he was touched there at all. I don't know if he was even attempted to be blocked. He had a full range, full head of speed to Bolger, and that is the back-breaking tackle right there that every defensive player dreams of hitting the quarterback right there, especially when they're not looking. And that is, I'm counting 5 sacks now for this Outlaws defense.
That's one of the best plays in football, the blindside hit on the quarterback. I mean, outside of a crackback block, what else would you want to see, Cody? I go back a few years, and I mean a few, playing a little turkey bowl on Thanksgiving Day at Shadow Mountain High School. The fellas going to the field, playing a little ball. And the team that we're going to play that day, everybody on the squad that we played all showed up in either Nebraska or Oklahoma Sooner half shirts. This is where the belly was like the thing, right? Half shirts.
You played the Power 5.
And I'll tell you what, these guys rocked us. And that I played a little quarterback back in the day, but the hit that Bolger just took, I took one like that with no pads on and got destroyed, fumbled the football. One of the hardest hitting games I was ever a part of, and it was just a pickup game.
Turkey feeling a little different.
Oh, yeah. Oh, the turkey tasted good at the end of that one, I'll tell you what. But banged up for a couple of weeks after that one. And now there's movement. The right slot moves. We have a quarterback change here for the Phantoms. taking the snaps.
Is 0, and we do not have a 0, so that's perfect.
I do have a 0.
Oh, you do have a 0.
That's Mahal Lee. He's a first-year
nice.
player, a one-time Outlaw. And for Mahal Lee, he's a dual-threat quarterback. He's going to take the snaps. And you have to wonder if Bolger took a shot on that last hit. Remember, dealing the punishment was David Satterfield Jr. Whenever I hear David and then Field, I always think of David Copperfield.
There you go.
Magic, magician.
You know, I'm looking at just depth numbers here, and the Phantoms, I don't know if they have more than 25 players. And I know for a couple of teams in this league right now, especially this late in the year, the numbers is an issue. Depth especially at the quarterback spot, right? So we'll see what Lee can do here.
Mahal Lee has played in one game. He's 4 of 8 through the air with 48 yards, a couple of touchdowns. Snap is back. Lee from the pocket. Here comes the pressure, and he's going to go down. He's going to get dropped again. Another sack. Sack number 6 on the evening. Mahal Lee goes down. Great work up front. To me, I had double 8s on it. That was Zachary Salzman, his second sack of the night. That's 2 of the 6 recorded. And with 28 seconds to go in a 20-0 ball game, if you're the Phantoms, you've got to just get out of here with the lead being the same if you can't get some points yourself.
Yeah, the Outlaws defense, I spotlighted before the series started. They are going to get after you, and they're going to attack, especially when they're up 20-0. They're going to keep everything in front of them. So what they're doing, they're bringing the double A-gap blitz inside backers. Sometimes they're flowing to the B-gap. But what that causes, it causes the gaps to be filled. So, yes, you bring in a dual-threat quarterback. Well, guess what? You still have 6, 7 guys coming in every single gap filled. You step up, you're getting hit. You try to roll right, you're getting hit. Pressure in the face consistently, and that's what the Outlaws defense does so well. Also what we see here, and this is where a lot of teams just continue to get down, they just chuck it up. And when you have roamers in the secondary, like a Carl Evans, like a Tevin Ray, it's pick season for these guys.
Alex Van Anrooy in punt formation from his own 31-yard line. Back deep for the Outlaws is Gadlin. Diedrich Gadlin. And the punt will be angled to the far side of the field inside the 30-yard line. It will go out of bounds there. And, oh, that's interesting. The clock did not roll during that punt. So still 20 seconds remain on the Longines scoreboard. Outlaws lead it 20-0. A touchdown from Ashur McMillan began the scoring on a nice pass from Rico McNeil. The second touchdown of the evening was a 18-yard strike to Diedrich Gadlin. And then the third touchdown of the night was a nice run there on the interior by Ben Williams, his 9th rushing touchdown of the year. The Outlaws hit 2 of 3 point-after tries. And if you're Coach Derek Parham here, Cody, you just got to make a play, keep everything in front of you, do not let any more scores, and just get out of here and live to play to halftime.
And they'll do that with the knee. I think the knee here for the Outlaws will make that happen.
Is that the indication?
That's the indication.
This is the indication. Rico McNeil is going to take a knee, and that's going to solve a lot of problems, even though the Phantoms were in a prevent, because you saw Kirk Sparks back there in a prevent at the 48-yard line. We are approaching halftime here at the Bellbank Park at the Legacy Sports Complex. It's halftime. We're going to take it down to. No, we're not going to do anything. Did he knock?
No knock yet. A Phantoms, as the director slams the door here. Hey, the Phantoms got to make some halftime adjustments here, Kevin, though, because big time. I mean, the offensive line, and we've already had a ton of comments in here. Once again, we love the audience comments in here. Makes our jobs fun, especially our guys. Ronnie Sanders keeping us up to date with some of these players. The Phantoms got to make halftime adjustments. The offensive line is getting their quarterback killed.
Cody, let's take it down to the field. There's Lucas Metzner.
Williams, running back of the Outlaws. Ben, you guys are up 20-0. 2 touchdowns through the air and 1 on the ground. How are you guys feeling about the balance of your offense so far?
We're feeling great. It's my offensive line behind me. They came out firing. First play of the game was a huge one, and that set the tone, and we're just playing ball.
You already know. And how are you guys feeling about your defense so far? 0 points allowed.
0 points allowed, turnover, a couple forced fumbles. They're balling. When you set the tone like that, like I said, everybody's got.
For sure. And now that you guys punched them in the mouth, how are you going to keep them down in the second half?
We just got to keep firing. We got to come out. We can't get complacent. We got to show this league that this playoff run that we're on, it's for real. So we got to come out and just and keep playing our game.
All right, thank you very much. Running back Ben Williams.
Understood.
And thank you guys. Back to the booth, Kevin and Cody.
Welcome back to Bellbank Park. Kevin Derryberry alongside Cody Cameron. We are ready to begin the second half. It's 20-0. Outlaws touchdowns from Ashur McMillan and Derek Gadlin and Larry Williams getting it done. That provided the scoring. 6 sacks for the Outlaw defense in that first half. And some quick numbers for you here. Rico McNeil, 5 of 9 for 92 yards and a couple of touchdowns. Ben Williams, 6 totes, 21 yards and a touchdown, his 9th of the year. Ashur McMillan, 3 catches for 70 yards and a score. And then Gatlin, 1 catch for 16 yards and a touchdown. We said it was 18 yards unofficially. And we got some updates for us on our roster. So wearing 26 is Andre Jones. Wearing 25 is Terrell Tolliver. So we'll go that way, Terrell Tolliver. And we're underway. Second half is ready to go. On the return, here comes Trey Sparks as he tries to find some real estate, find a little seam on the return. He's going to pick up positive yardage. He'll take it out to the 33-yard line. We'll call it the 34, perhaps, where they spot the football. Cody, I ask you, what can this Phantom offense to do? It looks like they might have made a quarterback change that could be due to injury. Will it be Bolger here in the second half, or are they going to go with the playmaker in Mahal Lee?
I think it might be Mahal Lee coming out here, Kevin. Nope,
It's Bolger.
I stand corrected, Bolger. Here's my color analyst take, and it's a crazy one. Phantoms have to score, or this game is over. You
Okay.
know?
on this drive,
on this drive, they have to score. The Outlaws have beat them in every facet of this football game. The defense has been ferocious offensively. They are clicking. Phantoms have to put points on the board on this drive.
using the hard count, they're offsides. Free play here for the Phantoms. They run the football. Ball's loose. It's on the turf. And let's see who comes up with the rock. The Outlaws said they've got the football.
Am I the best at broadcasting curse or what, man? That is incredible. The defense forcing their second turnover of the football game on the first play of the second half. And I did think they jumped off sides too, but no flags were called.
Dion Hicks with the fumble recovery. And if you joined us late, you missed the analysis of the evening, and that is if the Phantoms don't score on that particular drive, the game is over. So in this particular case, after the very first play of the second half, they turn it over again. That's the third turnover. I'll tell you what, are the Phantoms a little bit loosey-goosey with the football, or are the Outlaws just punishing people, and they're into what we call ball separation?
Yeah, the Outlaws are playing their game, man. They are controlling the clock. Their defense is getting after it. Multiple sacks, I think 6 or 7 sacks. 3 forced turnovers already. This is exactly how the Outlaws want to play this. Phantoms look like they're in no man's land.
McNeil from his own 31 to Williams, the bounce out, and boy, I tell you what, Ben Williams got absolutely rocked. Nice defensive play there by the Phantoms. Coming over there and lowering a boom was Antonio Mays. And Mays, one of those players that we spotlighted in the opening half that just has a lot of wheels, has a lot of willpower, has a lot of fight in his game. And you can see that he's a little bit ornery out there, and he's going to, take nothing for granted. So a nice shot on Williams, and now we're going to get a trainer from the opposite side of the field to escort linemen off the field. That is Hector Luan. So perhaps Luan is being looked at for concussion-type symptoms or maybe a lower extremity-type injury, but it'll be McNeil after the loss to Williams. It was a 4-yard TFL for Mays. Working from the 35-yard line of the Phantoms, it's Rico McNeil. Flank to his right is Larry Williams. Play fake. McNeil, deep ball, near boundary. The ball is incomplete. A lot of pushing and shoving on the near boundary. Going down the sideline, it was Mays. He had one-on-one coverage with the Outlaw wide receiver, A.J. Antoine Jackson. And I tell you what, Cody, from my thought process there, if that ball was accurate, that's another touchdown.
And I like that play, though. Second and long, take the deep shot, especially on the one-on-one coverage. Antoine Jackson's been one-on-one with a much smaller defender. That corner is given up 5 to 6 inches there. And also, I believe that's Antonio Mays sitting on that island.
It was
Great
Mays.
player,
Yep.
Good coverage, fluid in the hips there on the turn. But he is giving up 6 inches of height there, and especially in a league where the clock runs even on incomplete passes, it's pretty much like a run.
McNeil faces a 3rd down and 14 from the Phantoms' 35-yard line. McNeil back to pass, sets up a screen over the middle of the field. The ball's going to be caught by Williams, makes one man miss, and here comes 2 defensive players to take out Ben Williams. Leading the charge for the Phantoms defense was Quentin Fair, and you have to like that double team action. Great work by the Phantoms defensive front. Their front 7 playing patient. We go back to that patience word, waited for that play to develop, and then just stormed in and took out the ball carrier. In this case, it was Larry Williams.
Yeah, I mean, staying patient, but also staying disciplined. You're thinking 3rd and long and inside backer. Your drop of depth there, you're looking for 2 things. You're looking for that screen. You're also looking for the backside slant on the double route there. They see the screen. They've also ran that play. The Outlaws try to execute that play in the first half to no avail there. They get the completion, but because of the patience from the linebacking core by the Phantoms, they make the big stop, and that's a fantastic series for the Phantoms defense, and as they force a punt here after a terrible turnover.
Mr. Reed on in punt formation from his own 48-yard line. Mays is back deep on his own, we'll call it 8-yard line, and we're going to have some movement up front. Penalty marker gives us an opportunity, Cody, to introduce to everyone our Cactus Football League officiating crew. The referee tonight is Alex Herrera. Our umpire is Hoffa Federico. The line judge is Jamie Guerrero. The linesman this evening is Drew McDonald. Our field judge tonight is Marcus Johnson. The side judge is Michael Hall. Bryant Kennedy is our back judge, and Barrett Furman is our center judge. That is a fine officiating crew for the Arizona Cactus Football League. We are in Week 11. It's the quarterfinal edition of the AZCFL Game of the Week. The Phantoms and the Outlaws doing battle here. 2 5-5 teams trying to push down the door of win number 6. Snap is back to Reed. Reed angles one near side. Great punt. Mays is going to take it at his own 5 to the 10, and then a clothesline at the 10-yard line. And the Outlaw defensive player knows he just made a mistake. That was Diedrich Gadlin. For Gadlin, he has an 18-yard, make it a 16-yard touchdown reception tonight. And now he just got on the ledger for committing a 15-yard unsportsmanlike penalty for maybe a face mask.
Yeah, and that was a very close call by the Phantoms there, Kevin, because I think he actually he caught that ball near the goal line.
With one foot maybe back in the goal line.
And that's a big no-no.
Wait, let's be honest here. Antonio Mays, we know.
He's a playmaker.
We know you want to make a play. We know that's what you are on this football field for. Maybe that's why you're on this earth. We know. But in that case, you can't field the football.
I guess trying to make something happen there, but you're always taught, especially down there, sit at the 10 or the 15. You're not going any farther back than the 10. That ball's over you. Let it go. But
anything inside the 10.
It works in their favor with the 15-yard face mask penalty because they're going to start over the 20. But that was almost a big no-no.
That's what you kind of figured would happen. If I'm going to make a play, someone's going to make a play. If he doesn't do that, they don't get the 15 yards, and maybe they're setting up shop at the 5-yard line. But either way, it's 20-0. Phantoms trailing, working right to left. We'll see what they do at quarterback. They're going back to the Chandler Wolves standout, Billy Bolger. Nothing like playing at Chandler High for your high school experience. Bolger turned to give on the handoff, running laterally to the far side of the pool. This is going to be our new tailback. Let's get you the information for that young man. That is Terrell Tolliver. And he was nearly taken back and taken out with a 6-yard loss in the backfield.
Now, it looks like they're spotting him out of a 9-yard loss there, man. It looked like first contact. They're not honoring there, but that just shows you how fast and quick a pursuit defense this Outlaws team are. They got a stretch right fly sweep, and there's multiple 4 or 5 defenders there playing their gaps, the outside in players coming off the force and the edge, and 9-yard loss on first down there, Kevin.
They are just flying to the football, clearly outmanning the Phantoms here as Billy Bolger goes to work. Billy Bolger staring down the barrel of a double-barrel shotgun right here. It is third, check it, we'll call it second and a country mile, 2nd and 19. Play fake, Bolger to the outside, pass caught, and working up the sideline was the big fella, Making his first reception of the night was Ulysses Sori, the tight end. And Cody was asking for some tight ends to get some love in this football game. We believe, collectively as a broadcast team, we believe that the tight end position in this AZCFL is the most underutilized position in the first 11 weeks. There's a couple teams out there that will exploit that and use their tight end, but we haven't seen any sustained usage of the tight end, Cody.
Yeah, and the tough thing is I would really like that play on first down, get you into a 2nd and 6, right? You're doing a quick out or an arrow with your tight end there, a nice outside release, and he picks up 5 yards on that play, but now you are in a third, in the phrase you love, the country mile here, and they have lived in 3rd and long territory, and the Outlaws have got after it with some delayed A-gap blitzes.
Here comes the blitz from the Outlaws. They come from the outside and the inside. Bolger's going to step through the pocket. He's got nowhere to go. He's going to finally go down. He loses the football. The ball's out. The Outlaws have the ball at the 15, the 10, the 5, and that'll be a touchdown, a scoop and score for the Outlaws. Carl Mons one more time. This time he gets into the box for 6, and the Outlaws improve their lead to 26-0. Penalty markers on the field.
Double star, baby. Carl Mans, one of my favorite defensive players in this entire league. Look at him, the big fella. The scoop and score touchdown. The dreams that defensive linemen have of making this play starts with the violent, ferocious edge rush. Bolger steps up, gets drilled, forced fumble, and Carl Mans picks it up and takes it in for 6. And if it hasn't been already, Kevin, I know we're only in the 3rd, but that truly feels like the nail in the coffin.
The dagger here in the 3rd quarter. But I'll tell you what, I thought, looking back on that, I'm looking at the KDB slow-mo replay here in 5K, and I'll tell you what, it looked as though that was an incomplete pass. I know it sounds crazy, but I thought Bolger tried to throw the football, at least go back to the tuck rule, thought he had the ball out front, and had he had any kind of forward motion, that ball should be an incomplete pass, dead ball at the spot. But I don't believe that was the call here. But now we do get extra calls as there was all kinds of yellow on the field after that scoop and score.
Yeah, it looks like unsportsmanlike conduct on the Phantoms after giving up that scoop and score. And unfortunately for the Phantoms, their tuck rule is probably going to have to wait till 2024 when we have the HD replay in the budget, right, for the Cactus League.
Well, I tell you what, Tom Brady has been making a lot of news lately.
Did you see what he said?
And he said, that probably was a fumble. So going back to that, so Cody, for our case here,
they're waving it off.
They call that an incomplete pass.
Oh man, we just had a hell of a broadcast call for that touchdown, man. Hey, they got to cut that up and still put that on the highlight. Carl Mans, I want you to edit that, put it on your. I don't think they have huddle here, but put it on your highlight film, man, because he was going, man. You see the speed on Carl Mans.
He was
awesome.
motoring. I like the fleet of foot to get to the edge and then turn the corner.
And
Come on, baby.
You can't see me in the booth here, but the pump of the arms, man, he was going high knees.
9-0, getting after it. That pump might have been partially blocked. And the ball is going to be fielded on the far side. Helmets are flying everywhere. With the football for the Outlaws. Turning the corner is Carl Evans Jr. in space to the 10, the 5, to the pylon. He'll dive in and somersault into the end zone for a touchdown. Unofficially a 42-yard return on the punt. Penalty markers down. More pushing and shoving. Hats are flying. Flags are flying, and people are absolutely losing their composure here. It's 26-0 pending the penalties. Another flag drops. 4 flags, a couple of hats on the field, and this is unfortunate.
Yeah, we got about 15 blocking the backs on this play. We also have one of the Phantoms throwing a punch, and he is out of here. I believe that was number 5. Throwing a punch there for the Phantoms. He'll be ejected. That is a tough because let's see, Carl Evans on that return, and he hit the X spin move about 7 times on the start of that. But a couple clips and
let's just go back to the initial part of the play. It's a punt that was partially blocked. You can have a ball that is, you can see the president of the league, Matt Archer, is on the field right now. So this has gotten a little bit out of hand, and I hear a couple indications they might call this game right here.
Yeah, there's security all over the field, man. Is that what they're going to do?
So on the partially blocked punt, we had Carl Evans Jr. He was fairly deceptive as he picked up the punt. He was, again, at the bewitching hour, at the very last chance he could field that punt, he did. Got to the edge, spun around the 35-yard line, then started running laterally right at us, got to the edge, more of those blocks that you were talking about, and then he finally housed it.
Yeah, and we still have players out there looking. I believe there's a couple phantoms out there trying to come across the field here and still fight some of the Outlaws.
This
It's tough, man. It's tough to say. I love this league. This is our first year broadcasting this league. I love this league. This is fun. This is tough, though. You know, I know this happened a couple times. And heck, playing the game of football, the emotions are going to run high. Did they just call it?
Yep.
I just
saw the president of our league
wave it.
Just give us the throat slash.
That's tough, man, because we had a whole second half here. So in that case, I'm guessing they give it to the Outlaws for the win. That's
so
brutal.
We'll see what they come up with here. But unofficially, numbers-wise, we would like to share this and pass this along for those of you that had a little something on this one. The rushing line tonight was under 50 yards for the Phantoms. They're at 38 yards.
30. So I hit the under. Is that what you're telling me?
So I just wanted to point out, I had to go back to the 2022 internal system, and it was a bang on the window with a phone and a text saying no interview. So we picked up on that. The Outlaws are all bunched up here. The president of the league is basically letting people know that this type of behavior is no longer tolerated. You got to play tackle football. At what point did these players, and this is easy for you and I to speculate on, Cody, but at any level, would you want to come unglued like this, come unraveled, and start duking it out? There are occasions where you might see this. But if you play on Saturdays or Sundays, you've got to keep your composure. And this is a Saturday league. You've got to learn how to keep your composure, whether you're getting paid a nickel or you're paying money. It doesn't matter. You've got to be able to conduct yourselves in an orderly mindset.
I mean, it's just tough. I always like to side with the players. You know, you know me.
Sure.
I always like to side with the players, and just hey, you want to get that aggression out. It's easy for me to say up here, just get it at the next play. I know emotions run high. The sucky thing is we don't get a second half now, and we have 75 people still in the lobby watching this game live. We had 500 viewers already in this football game. I love broadcasting to this. I mean, we have an awesome audience. Heck, we have Tanner Swanger, tight end for the Canes, saying, great broadcast, guys. It's unfortunate. You guys are awesome. Aaron O'Neill, great broadcast. I mean, multiple of you guys. Our guy, Ronnie Sanders, giving us literally updates on rosters, man. We really appreciate you guys. It sucks we can't give you the second half. It does look like we have an Outlaws victory. I hate to see it end this way. Man, but we do have the semis next week, and I'll be looking forward to that.
Well, it looks like we're going to get the Canes and the Rebels. And if that holds true, you talk about a marquee game on paper, Cody, we're in for a treat. And we get to see Zach Elvira, our buddy, on the field playing, I think, defense next week.
And so that means the Outlaws the Outlaws would play the Spartans, right? Is that how that is matching up here? Hey, I'll tell you right now, the 4 teams that are still in here, incredible defenses. They got high-powered offenses, and they're both different schemes. But just the 4 teams that are up, it is fun time, man. It's about to ball out here.
You got the Canes, the Rebels, the Outlaws, and who are we missing? Canes, Rebels, Outlaws, and the Sparties.
Yeah, man, it's party time. And honestly, the Outlaws, the way they are built, with how tough they are with their front seven, with the backfield, and if Rico McNeil plays like he did tonight, we're converting on third down and accurate with the football, that is a dangerous team to play, and I know they're going to be hunting for the Canes and the Spartans.
No doubt.
And I can't wait for that. But the next week, man, Rebels and Canes, I can't wait for the showdown. We get to see Swanger again. We get to see, the Canes front seven. They are nasty and physical.
Nasty.
I'm stoked for that one.
You know, I had a note here. Front seven strong suit for the Phantoms. the idea is, can they get to Rico Neal? Well, we got the answer. The answer was no, they couldn't.
No.
But I tell you what, when the game began, they had a chance. They had enough of a concept and a scheme to get to Rico McNeil. But Rico McNeil threw the ball over the secondary, and he did it early. And I think that pass play, again, kind of funny for us because we were going against, and we thought we might see maybe 35 carries out of the ground game tonight. They just said, hey, screw that. We're going to soften this defense up. We're going to throw over the top and kind of make you think the unexpected, and that's what we saw there. And Rico McNeil opened it up on that first play.
They were so balanced in this football game. And I give credit to the offensive line, too, because they deserve all the credit for a lot of the huge holes that Benny Williams and Boobie Conley have had all season long. But great pass protection, nice kick step and balance from their tackles, their guards picking up interior blitzes. It's hard to block in this league, especially when you have some former Power 5 players at defensive end.
Right.
When you have 6, 7 blitz schemes coming at you, and the Outlaws do a really good job of picking that up. Where the Phantoms, they look lost. Heck, their left side of the offense sometimes went ghost mode, man. They were nowhere to be seen. And Billy Bolger, the Fuller Chandler Wolf, he's gonna need ice bath for the next week, man, because he got destroyed out there.
Great segue. I tell you what, Bolger got rocked a lot tonight, no doubt about it. But we were talking about the ice bath, and that is a perfect segue. It's 92 degrees out on the field right now. In this press box right now, it's 62 degrees. 62 in our press box. We need a coat. Maybe some foul weather gear, but we're having a great time. He's Cody Cameron. I'm Kevin Derryberry. It's been a pleasure to be a part of tonight's broadcast. We're sorry that the game is going to end prematurely, but the Outlaws will survive. They will advance. They win it 20-0, and they will have a date with the Spartans next week. And I tell you what, that's going to be another outstanding game on paper. Spartans are really good.
Oh, very good, and they're balanced. And I've seen it in multiple chats that Jacob Mortensen, their quarterback, Jake Mortensen, is the MVP of this league. I've also seen a lot of takes. I've also seen a lot of takes where the defensive players are ready to get after him, man. I love, like I said, man, I love this league. I love the audience. I love the smack talking. I hope we do not see a game end in the third quarter again. Highly doubt we will, just because of how competitive these teams moving on. Can't wait to see the message boards this week. Excited for next Saturday, Kevin.
But we definitely want to just part ways with this. Just keep your composure. It's a great league. We all really love this league. Matt Archer does a tremendous job with this league. His support staff, his support crew, our broadcast team, they're all top of the line guys. Great people. It's about just taking care of business, right? And being smart, be cerebral, have a cerebral approach to what we're doing here on the playing field. Things can get sloppy. Things can get out of hand. Maybe you're not getting a paycheck for this game, but at least play with composure and play for the man next to you. We see that a lot, right? But does the guy next to you want you committing infractions and blowing guys up and getting 15-yard penalties? I don't think so. So with that being said, for Cody Cameron and all of our outstanding broadcast crew, for Christian Klein and Maxwell Volcone, I'm Kevin Derryberry. Until next time, so long for now.